With a record 64 teams entered in this year's Atownthrowdown, this is the largest of its kind. Now in its fourth year, it is the Strath Panthers and William Allen Canaries as we welcome you back to Cedar Beach Park and our coverage of day number 3. This is the continuation of pool play on the boys varsity bracket. Mike Zambelli, pleased to be joined by Doug Snyder. Canaries, Strath. You get an opportunity if you're Darnell Braswell to test your team about a good out-of-area opponent.
Exactly right. A District 1 team, suburban Philadelphia. They play in a very, very strong Central League, which has Lower Merion and Conestoga and Pencrest and Radnor and Haverford, some of the top teams in the Philly suburb. So he's looking forward to getting this game under his belt. He's got 15 guys in uniform, so we'll see kind of who he's rebuilding with because Allen has lost a couple seniors since last year.
One of those guys, of course, Nate Ellis, though you don't replace a Nate Ellis who was just a terrific winner when you look at the great career he's had here. But Darnell Braswell now moving on since taking over for you at Allen High School. What is he looking for here this afternoon from his Canaries?
He's got a bunch of guys who are not really known too well. Like you said, Nate Ellis scored 1,650 points, finished second all-time in the history of Allen High School. But he's got a bunch of guys who are hungry. He likes his young group. Some of his younger players are hungry. They're working out all the time. He's got to find that right mix between some of the younger guys coming up and also some of those seniors who are back. And he's also looking for somebody to be adequate at the point guard and run the show.
Well, we'll see how it plays out here. This is the pool play action. There are 13 total pool that were created by the tournament organization. There are 2 of them that have 3 teams each. Both those 2 pools will get 2 teams in the round of 16. So this is an important game for both Allen and Strath if they are going to be a part of the single elimination part of this. This is Pool 9, which Lancaster Mennonite and Montgomery of New Jersey was also part of this pool as well. So the Canaries will be wearing their blue tops. Ron and Turco. Turco's been a sponsor of their summer league teams, it seems like forever. Strath wearing white pennies, more like a silver tone to it. Their school colors are black and silver. The Canaries win the tip and will go to work offensively and will turn it over. And that was a product of the outdoor court there. Chris Justo was trying to make a cut there and just couldn't quite get there, but fortunately last touched by Strath.
Coach Braswell likes to run this one set to open a game. Justo parks back, then he pops back out, then he tried to isolate Darius Brandt and low. That's what they got. Notice how he's going to his left hand as a left hand.
Darius Brandt gets the game's first bucket. He is the lone returning starter.
Did not show up at Allen High School last year until the fall, pretty much when the season was getting going with preseason workouts and practice. So Coach Braswell has only worked with him for about a year now.
Unable to complete the three-point play, and our first look at the Strath offense. Chris Collin there, head coach. This is Jaden Javrekiu. And a whistle on the rebound. Trying to get a look at the number. The Canaries are the home team on the scoreboard. That determined as of game time, of course, Darnell Braswell, one of the greatest ever play at nearby DeSales University, a 2-time All-American. Guided that program or helped to be a part of that program to unprecedented success under head coach Scott Koval. He served as an assistant for Coach Koval there for a while. He was over at Central before taking over for you, Doug, here at his alma mater at Allen High School.
Entering his 3rd year right now. His coaching resume is expanding and expanding. First year on the job 2 years ago, Mike. District 11 champion. Archbishop Wood in the first round of a COVID-shortened season.
Looking over at that bench, Doug, there are 11 on that roster. That's 11 plus 5 on the court. That's 16 players. That's a little too many for a varsity team, I would think. Chris Justo with a hard-earned buckets going to the free throw line.
You and I know these Allentown kids, Mike. A tournament in town in front of people here in their home city, they're going to be here anyway. Whether they're going to get on the court or not, I think Coach Braswell wants them to be experiencing this whole atmosphere.
Yep, that's a good point. Well, we talked about it earlier. Allen High School located, just on the other side of Lake Muhlenberg here, and these youngsters feel like this is their home court to protect. And usually you get good effort, and you're getting a good start here to this one with a 5-0 start to the ball game. Strathaven lost their opener 32-29, got 18 points from Javrekiu. And another stop for the Canaries defense. Grant hanging in the air and delivers.
Defensively, you have to wonder about Darius Brandt because he comes back to the left hand. They might want to force him a little bit to his weaker right hand, but he is really athletic. He's long, and he has experience from playing a lot last year alongside of guys like Nate Ellis.
Oh, and he was a guy I thought gave them a real jolt later on during the regular season. He was able to do some good things. Coach Braswell now with a teaching moment with him. A 7-0 lead to start the ball game for the Canaries. Popping out is Keith Jackson.
That play is called an elevator play where they sent that double screen and pinched down. Jackson got a chance for a look, but he kind of put it on the floor and dribble penetrated.
Brandt's wraparound pass and the duel for the loose ball rebound. Held ball possession arrow awarded to Strathaven. Talked about Chris Conlon, basketball and soccer performer at Pencrest. There's a basketball name in the state of Pennsylvania. Went on to star at Immaculata. Finger roll doesn't quite get there. Going to get a foul on the rebound.
No basket.
Coach Braswell had this Allen Canary squad on Sunday up at East Stroudsburg University for a one-day team camp in which they played 3 games. Northeast Pennsylvania, an AAU team, East Stroudsburg South, and Stroudsburg. So this group is 1 week removed from playing together up there. I had a chance to watch them play 2 of those 3 games. The more they play together as young players and rather inexperienced players, the better they will become.
You've worked some camps, some summer camps with Coach Braswell. He's matured nicely as a high school head coach, hasn't he?
Last week we had a 3-day camp for the young people in the city of Allentown on the boys' side from 1 till 3:30. He is teaching summer school at Trexler Middle School. He came right over, jumped right in and ran that camp, and I was very proud of how he handled himself, but also worked with the young people and his own players. These players we're watching in dark blue, Mike, they were the counselors, and they did a wonderful job. At one point, I stopped and congratulated them on how well they were working with these young men.
So you're still pretty involved during the summer months, huh?
Yeah, trying to. Yeah, it keeps me out of trouble, as you know.
Well, and you've been prone to get into trouble.
You got that right.
Strathaven on the board, nice up under and in move. That bucket scored by number 34, Ja Curtis. Curtis had 4 points in their previous game in the tournament.
Coach Braswell getting 2 fresh faces and bodies into this game already. Adrian Figueroa's in the game. Aaron Schneider in the game.
This is Figueroa. Heels near side. Brandt's 3-pointer off the mark. Rebound swatted around, controlled by the Canaries. Leads to an open look at a 3. That wouldn't fall. And an offensive rebound for Figueroa. So off the bench and into the scorer's book.
Number 8, Adrian Figueroa. is a football player, so he's got that toughness. As you could see him digging out that offensive rebound and going up really strong to put it back. I like Allen pushing the basketball up the sideline and moving it, getting a lot of people touches with the ball.
Brant looks a little thinner to me this year than last year, yes?
Yeah, I think he's in really good shape right now. I think he's been playing a lot and working out with Coach Braswell and the group. We search far and wide for our officials. Mike, the official under the basket with the ball is a Philadelphia area woman. She was an assistant coach at Constitution High School for many years. That's when I first met her. Now she's in the officiating ranks. So I'm sure she came up from Philly for this tournament.
3 off the mark by Cybis. Liam wearing number 67. Brant will restore a little order offensively. Canaries fighting to become a part of the final 16 on Sunday. Strathaven with a leak out, couldn't take advantage of it. Missed opportunity there by Curtis. And action starting to freshen. Figueroa, big impact off the bench, has his second field goal. And Darnell Braswell bouncing off the bench to greet his team right now. Nice little flurry, nice exchange for the high-flying Canaries. 9-point advantage for Allen High School. Of course, you mentioned the seniors that they lost to graduation. Nate Ellis decided on DeSales, huh?
Nate Ellis will be playing for one of the finest in the area, Scott Koval, Division III coach, one of the best. He will be down there. And Eli Vigo, his running mate from Allen High School, another starting guard from last year, he is also on his way to DeSales. So they will both be Bulldogs playing for the same coach in the same backcourt. Leandro Pena was another senior who played a lot, sometimes started. I believe he's going to a Penn State extension. I'm thinking it's Penn State Wilkes-Barre, but it's one of the extensions up north. So we have 3 guys playing Division III basketball from last year's team.
You know, Doug, I know you talk about Nate Ellis and losing a guy like that and what you lose. For me, Eli Vigo, he gave you that intensity defensively, and that's a tough thing to replace. Played a lot bigger than what his size might indicate.
It's a great point because I've talked to Coach Koval about him, and I said his ceiling is pretty high, and like you said, is absolutely true. He has long arms. He's got great instincts on the defensive end. He rebounds bigger than what he is.
Yes.
Deflects passes.
Yep.
He doesn't do the offensive things that Nate Ellis, but not too many people do. He up to score 1,650 points in a career. Think about that. You alluded to it earlier. Nate Ellis, in his 4 years of varsity basketball, has 2 district and 1 league championship title out of 4.
Pretty good stuff.
Unbelievable.
Manny Polanco, recurring theme here this afternoon outdoors. We've seen it time and again. Free throws not a given. Matter of fact, they've been an adventure. There's a nice defensive effort in the block, leading to a breakaway opportunity. That's going to be ruled the bucket for Jaden Jevrekiu. Jevrekiu scored 18 points in a previous tournament game already. So he's a guy Strathaven wants to get going offensively.
Coach Conlon mentioned his name before the game and said that's one of the guys that they'll be counting on to score.
Duel for the loose ball. Pretty good intensity by both teams. Possession arrow will keep it with the Canaries. So you work both camps with the girls. Boy, the girls, Allen and Diroff, they put on quite a show. Not always pretty, but usually those low-scoring games where points are tough to come by. There was good competitive work between those 2 public schools here in the city of Allentown.
Coach Kathy Piston has been around for a long time. She's really developed a strong program, and she continues to work year-round with that program. Coach Britt Coley now taking over for Stan Broyles. She is in her first year, and she's building a foundation with fundamentals,
Yeah.
and respect, and a culture. And it'll take a little time, but both programs are definitely on the upswing.
Really can't bypass those bottom layers of the foundation, can you? I mean, it all has to start at the beginning. You went through that when you took over. I mean, you know, John Donmoyer had a lot of success, but you had to build your own foundation for success at Allen High School.
There's a culture. You have to develop a culture, and that usually begins with stuff that might not be basketball related and on the court stuff, like a respect or a work ethic or habits or the ability to be competitive. Allentown kids often do not face adversity well. When things don't go their way, sometimes they struggle with that. And that's one of the things you have to work on. Not everything's going to go right for you as Schneider dribble penetrates.
Got into a little trouble there, and Strathaven now with trying a little bit of a surge, but unable to cash in. They're down 9. This is Justo. Justo's a guy who's got some varsity experience. What a good look. And the recipient was Figueroa, who has a half dozen off the Canary bench.
Again, Coach Braswell, I believe, is going to use some depth, and he's going to get a lot of players in the game, keeping them fresh in this hot weather, but also trying to develop people. Who's going to play in what situations.
Knocked out of bounds. They called the blocking foul on Strathaven. That's going to bring Brandt back into the contest. Danny Santana will catch a breather.
Justo shooting his second and third free throws of the afternoon.
Strathaven able to regain possession of the loose ball. Javrecki fighting his way through a trio of defenders. They're letting them play. There's Brandt as he took a pretty good hit going the other way. Javrecki may have been shaken up as it winds up being a 3. And Javrecki is shaken up. Jaden right in front of our vantage point trying to shake it off. Adrian Figueroa continuing a big first half. Figueroa. Strathaven fans looking for a walk. They are really letting these two play. Javrecki, and he's going to get knocked to the deck, and that is going to draw a whistle and a foul. 18 points earlier in the tournament. Jaden has a brother, Theo, who was on the roster. Young man shows some nice promise. Left-hander, you got to love that, right?
Always seems to be the case, Mike, that left-handers are just exquisite shooters. I don't know what it is.
What is that?
What it is, but
Almost makes you want to tie your right hand behind your back and start shooting lefty, doesn't it?
Southpaws are always shooters.
Hey, not going to get a free throw there, but they're right on there. You can see the form is there.
Great mechanics.
Strathaven coming off a couple of tough seasons, but they play in a tough division in a tough league.
Lower Marion typically is one of the better 6A teams in the state coming out of that Central League.
There's Brandt with the rejection. Strathaven fighting to get back defensively, and Brandt a good job of muscling his way and will draw a foul. So did you feel during these summer league games that the games were more physical than during the winter months, or is that just kind of a perception because you're outside and the elements kind of play into it?
Well, one of the things, Mike, is you have 2 officials in summertime versus 3, so there's 3 sets of eyes looking at things, so that could be one thing. But I think playground basketball is kind of a thing unto itself, and they just let guys go after each other a little bit as if there wouldn't be referees and somebody was playing pickup in the park.
You answered my question. They let him go a little bit outdoors. Brandt, 1 of 2 from the free throw line. He's got a handful. Only returning starter for Darnell Braswell.
130, court 1, 1-0.
Strong move to the basket, denied at the rim, offensive rebound. Jason Williams, they were looking for a goaltend on that play. It wasn't called.
Strath Haven faithful wants that pin against the board. Brandt came up and just took it away off the glass.
Williams going to go to the free throw line. Jason 4 points earlier in the tournament. Seven games to do here today and limited time to try and gather information. I'm not going to be surprised to learn that this guy might be a member of their football program.
That would be my guess as well. Maybe a lineman.
I was going to say, when you like to tag him out at the right guard or right tackle.
A run behind him.
Athletic, nice release. And first points of the game for Williams. Brandt, quick dribble between the legs. He is athletic. Offensive rebound. Held ball, will take it the other way. It's Alexis Fernandez, number 24, in for the Canaries.
15 seconds, court 1.
Coming now in high school from Newark, New Jersey, Alexis. I've been teasing him about what the nickname of Newark is, and now he knows it's Brick City.
There's an offensive rebound, wouldn't fall for Williams. And our first half comes to a close. It is the Canaries pulling away from Strath Haven. We have reached halftime. 17-5 Allen over Strath Haven as we welcome you back to Cedar Beach Park. The setting sun is kind of blocking us out from the glare of the scoreboard across the way, and our monitors are a little tough right now, Doug, but Canaries with a pretty solid first half to lead 17-5. We're going to dial up some first half highlights for Strath Haven. Just 2 field goals. Liam Seabist has one of those. Number 67, Jaden Rajecki, who scored 18 earlier in the tournament, and then they have a free throw to go along with that. On the other end of it, the Canaries getting a terrific effort, of course, from Darius Brandt, who you talked about. He had 5, but Adrian Figueroa, big first half for them with 9.
Adrian Figueroa came off the bench with 9 points here. Really aggressive offensively. Looked to put the ball on the deck, get into the rim, try to score around the rim. He hit a 3, stepped outside, and hit a 3 at the top of the key. Coach Braswell talked about number 4 for his squad, Keith Jackson, and he hasn't even been up on the board. He said Keith played really well in their earlier game, and he hasn't even started to take over yet. So we're looking for Keith Jackson to maybe get involved here as well. But the Canaries a little fast and quick, pushing the ball up in transition.
Individual scoring, Subist and Curtis with the pair. Figueroa, Brandt, and Justo leading the way, as we mentioned, for the Canaries. What'd you like about what you saw from the Allen team? Again, 16 on their roster, saw a good number of bodies out there, but, you know, Brandt, a young man who's now into his second full year in the program, appears to be a little bit more comfortable with himself within that framework.
Coach Braswell talked about the fact that he really hadn't coached him much when he got to him last year, early in the fall. So it was kind of like 1 year, and he grew as the season progressed last year. He's got some emotional baggage, and he is going to make sure that that doesn't take away and minimize his ability to really play on the court. He's quick and aggressive. He puts the ball on the floor. He goes to the rim. He's a left-hander who is long. He's going to block shots and rebound. If I were Coach Braswell, I'd look at him and say, I want double-double out of you every night. You need to get 10, 12 rebounds and 10, 12 or more points, and I think he can do that.
Coach, you mentioned emotionally. Is the summertime the perfect time or the optimal time to be able to work with the young man individually and keep him on a straight path and keep his focus and to be able to work. I mean, obviously, when you get into school year, you have the classes and everything else that's going on there. It can become a little more trying.
And this game is an emotionally charged game anyway, because you got a bunch of guys who are in tight spots with no protection on, no helmets like in football, and it's really hot. So if these guys can really control their emotions and do what's right in this setting, it will be even that much easier when you come to the structured time of the school year.
Justo setting the Canary attack, leaves for Brandt. It was a tough angle. He wasn't able to get it over the rim, but Robert Johnson digs out an offensive rebound. Brandt muscling his way. Bounce pass in traffic. Justo got a pretty decent look under duress. Strathaven, they've struggled offensively, not getting a good look there as well. And one and done thanks to the rebounding efforts of Brandt. Strathaven able to come up with the loose ball. Emmaus West Catholic, Central Catholic, Notre Dame Green Pond, Parkland and Camden still on the docket. For our Service Electric subscribers, St. Luke's University Health Network and the Service Electric Network, presenting sponsors of this year's Atownthrowdown.
What I liked about Brandt's take right there down the middle of the lane was that he went to his right hand. He wasn't able to finish, but at least he's working on that as part of his repertoire.
Of course, that is his offhand. He is a lefty.
Correct.
This is Curtis stepping to the free throw line. Haven't been a whole lot of made free throws today in any of the games. Curtis showing him how it's done. Picks up a pair. Curtis in a starting role. Well, if you're Strathaven, you just kind of got to chip it away, get some stops down at this end, and do the best you can offensively. There's the first part of the equation. Pass, a dangerous one, and too many hands in the way, but they have it back. That's going to count in a foul. A gem for Ja Curtis.
Great hands with Curtis there, stripping the ball from Brandt, able to finish and get fouled. Possible three-point play for the Panthers of Strathaven High School out of Wallingford, Pennsylvania.
Well, if you're Chris Conlon, this is ideal scenario for him. You're driven away from town. You're in a hostile environment against basically the home team in the tournament, and you're down double digits. Let's see what you're made of, guys. See what you got.
Exactly right.
Well, that's a big three-point play by Curtis. And Strathaven on a little bit of a run has pulled to within 7.
Ja Curtis should look offensively to attack the rim because he's 3 for 3 from the foul line so far in the second half. We have a 2-on-1 run out.
Figueroa, who had the big first half. And that ball off the knee of Strathaven. I know one thing, Strathaven's not here without the support of some family and friends.
A solid group right here aside of me.
Figueroa nearly dug out another offensive board. Here comes Strathaven once again. Little step through and on the mark. And Curtis is rallying Strathaven.
7 points for Ja Curtis. All the points in the second half by Strathaven. 7-0 run.
Figueroa has looked impressive. Strength-wise, control-wise, hooping a foul, he steps to the free throw line.
Not sure that many of these Allen Canaries are football, basketball guys, but A.J. Figueroa is one of those. Brings a certain element of toughness and tenacity to the squad.
Good sharing of the basketball leads to a bucket for Strathaven. That is Blake Reed.
Great pass off the dribble in the interior right there in close quarters. Tough to make those passes when you're so close together.
Doug, historically now, for the last, well, better than 10, 15 years, that's been the case as Jeff Recu's going to get a breakaway here. That's been the case at Allen, where there aren't basketball/football guys. You encouraged it, though. You wanted it that way. As a matter of fact, Darnell Braswell was one of those guys until suffering a career-ending knee injury.
Darnell was the leader of that football team as the quarterback. Played both sports. I thought that the football team probably could have been a little more successful had some of those bigger, stronger guys been linemen maybe, or tight ends, linebackers, that kind of thing. And done a little bit of both there as Figueroa knocks down a three.
What a game he's having. And looking at him at the defensive end, he's drawn the toughest assignment. Adrian Figueroa did not start in this game. He's sending a message to the coaching staff. There's a tough bucket inside.
Great take, number 53, and gets fouled.
Unfortunately, we do not have a number 53, and again, apologize. This is the nature of summer league basketball. There's one guy running around out there doesn't have a number, I saw. And a three-point play. And the run here for Strathaven continues. Figueroa, he's feeling it. Bit of the heat check, and that was not far off. Couple of subs coming in for Strathaven. Liam Seabist, part of that substitution pattern. You know, it was really neat, and I know you were here, Doug, for the Allen Deeroff girls game, which, if you missed it, on the Service Electric Network, was won by Deeroff by 2 points. It's the student section and the support from the city of Allentown and their classmates. It was pretty neat.
And we had mayors here. We had the outgoing mayor, Ray O'Connell. We had the current mayor, Matt Turk. We have all kinds of people. Jalen Cannon was there, as you interviewed Tyrese Martin earlier. We have a long list of celebrities and just interested Allentonians to be part of this.
Good look at a three. He's a little deep. Where's Curtis having himself a half, digging out an offensive rebound.
I would go right back to him. I'd put Jock Curtis right back at the block and say, do it again, young man.
Off the dribble, but off the mark was Javrecu. Good job getting back defensively by Strathaven, but some contact and a foul being called.
As you said in an earlier game, it's a three-point game. 17-5 first half score, and it's a three-point game right now. Actually a one-possession game when you think about it.
Just a golden opportunity for Chris Conlon and Strathaven to find out what you're made of. And as mentioned earlier in our coverage of these games here today, is that one just teeters on the front of the rim and wouldn't fall. This is the last hurrah for at least most of our local teams. They'll all take a break and ready for the school year. So.
Oh, great pass. Great no-look pass.
That's Justo hustling back in for the Canaries, replacing Alexis Fernandez.
Justo, just coming off an ankle injury, was down a little bit last weekend at their one-day team camp at East Stroudsburg University. Got hurt in the first game, sat out the second and third, and didn't really push it this past week while he was a counselor at Coach Braswell's Little Canary camp. He seems to be fine right now.
Here's Justo, a good look at a three. Boy, points hard to come by for the Canaries in this second half. Boy, and Strathaven is selling out. What an effort there by Liam Seabist.
9 minutes, another niner on the main court.
9 to go in regulation. Strathaven has made it a game after trailing by a dozen at intermission.
Feed the hot hand. We got a couple guys on this Panther squad who have had hot hands Jock Curtis being one of them. Number 53 has been doing a good job. And Jaden Jareggi, really talented left-handed player, kind of like a combo guard as he takes a three.
Hey, earlier in the night, you mentioned Larry Miller out of Catasauqua. Were you as surprised as I was to know that he was not in the College Basketball Hall of Fame?
That was pretty amazing.
That shocked me. I had to read it 3 times. You got to be kidding me.
He's going in now.
I understand.
He was not in originally.
Yeah, right.
I mean,
what was the wait about?
Yeah, really. Really, Dean Smith's first great recruit. Got North Carolina on the map in the early mid-'60s. Jareggi just willing his way in there.
Recky's had a tough ball game. Allen's done a good job on him. Mentioned 18-point performance earlier in the tournament. He earns this pair here.
8 minutes, Brookline, 8 minutes.
Recky with an opportunity to tie the ball game here and be the first of its kind.
Got a great mechanically sound stroke as he goes to that left hand. You can see him put in the shooting pocket. Great follow through.
Rattles out.
Stays with Strathaven under their own basket. Could take the lead on a possession here. Yeah, when you think about that All-American team in Larry Miller's last year, Lou Alcindor, Elvin Hayes, Pete Maravich, Calvin Murphy with Larry Miller. Think about those other 4 guys.
They talk about that perhaps being the best first-team All-American team in the history of the sport. Most accomplished. Jeff Recky's starting to find his range now. And Strathaven has their first lead of the evening, 23-22. Johnson, that's blocked by Jeff Recky.
Right back to the hot hand.
Well, this is not the same Strathaven team we saw in the first half. Another no-look pass and a beauty.
He's made 2 great passes driving down dribble penetration. Jock Curtis again, the recipient.
It's 11 for Curtis and a 3-point lead. And the Canaries in desperate need of a hoop. And here's, if you're Darnell Braswell, you're looking for who's going to be the guy that replaces Nate Ellis. Who's going to make the smart decisions. Who's going to be the guy that's going to get someone a very makeable shot?
Who will be the ball handler, facilitator, and who will be the primary scorer? He's figuring all that out. I mean, he's had 2 great years thus far as he enters his 3rd. He's figuring all that out. He's got a lot of guys that are hungry. Some of the younger players really impress him. He's going to give the older guys some chances and work the younger guys in. I think one of his strong points, Mike, is going to be depth. I think he's going to be able to go 9 or 10 deep this year. And, some guys have an off night. Other guys will step up. Next man up, as that cliche goes.
Justo, nice little flip sides. We haven't heard from Brand in a while. That's a good option. Just doesn't get the roll. I like the decision there. Ball just wouldn't fall. Javrecki. Contact and a foul prior to the shot attempt.
Usually they run that play that Allen just ran to Brandt and post him up. In that case, they got Johnson the ball inside. Strathaven goes to a box set here out of bounds underneath. They're going to screen back and then get a screen. Jareggi's going to get a shot maybe off that second screen. It's called Screen the Screener.
Picked up by Justo. Left-hander trying to gain an advantage on the baseline, forced to check off.
It'll keep your eyes and hands open when he's dribbling the ball.
Dribbling into some trouble and a turnover. Here come the Canaries. They could use something good to happen, and there it is. That is Aaron Schneider. His first field goal of the game, a baseball guy as well. And a big hoop here.
I believe he's a catcher on that baseball team. I think he's been starting since his freshman year as the varsity catcher.
Canaries unable to control a wild 3.
Jareggi's been really effective taking the ball to the basket.
That's a big offensive rebound and second opportunity cashed in by Strathaven. Or Mystery Man, number 53. Boy, Grant fortunate to save this possession and somehow turns it into a bucket. Not a lot of guys make that play, Coach Snyder.
That is a Euro step, and that is certainly taught. That's been coming down from the players who come over from Europe throughout the course of the last decade or so. You take one step in one direction, a second step in the other direction, and Brant has worked on that. I've seen him work on that in the gym. That's a drill that you do right there. See that first and second step, and he was able to finish that. It's a thing of beauty.
You and I are getting called for a travel back in our day, but you call it the Euro step, I'll buy in.
We talked about that for a couple of years now. If they're letting you do it, then you might as well do it.
That's for sure. How you been, Coach? Having a good summer?
Oh, it's been
I know
great.
you've been around the kids and in the gym, and I know that makes you happy.
Yeah, it's a great thing. It's a great thing to see young people succeed and be involved with some passion that they like to be involved with, like basketball and other things. But you know what? It's great sitting here in the park. Mike, remember this day when there was only one court here? Growing up, we only looked at one court right here with about 3 bleachers. That's it.
And if you lost, it was hard to get back on it for the rest
Go
of
home.
the day. That's
go
right.
Home. Just go home.
Your day is over. That's right.
I think they had an old pump over here behind where we're sitting here, and you just pump water.
Yeah.
Water.
It's like taking the horse over there to get him to the stall and get a drink of water. Tell you, some exhausted players right here in front of us. Ja Curtis, who has helped to rally Strathaven, another good-looking athlete. You got to believe he might be a football guy as well.
Canaries just extended their defense into full court pressure, putting a little pressure on the ball right here and causing a turnover in the front court.
Curtis has 9 points all in the second half. That's a big stop for the Canary defense. Well, every possession now. 3 minutes to go. Again, they're playing 18-minute running halves. Clock will stop when you get under 2 minutes. Here's Figueroa, forced to give it up. Schneider's got a huge 3, and the Canaries are back on top. (29-27) Allen.
Coach Braswell really likes how Schneider competes.
And now he comes up with a steal at the defensive end. Brant lost the handle on it momentarily.
Get it out of the corner, get it out front, spread the court a little bit.
It was a good job by Justo to make himself available for that outlet. What a big possession here, as the Canaries can make it a 2-possession game.
Schneider was thinking another 3 from that opposite corner now, but decides that he might want to move the ball around up 2.
2 minutes, court 1, clock to stop it all misses. 2 minutes.
Schneider looking for a 3 from the other side, this time a little long. Curtis the rebound, 2 to tie, 3 to take the lead for Strathaven.
Got the ball into Jaregi's hands there, number 32. He screens. And Coach Conlon wants a timeout.
Didn't like the way that play was starting to develop, and probably a good timeout call. 1:35 to go between these two. This again, pool play. Day number 3 of the 4 days of the tournament. Thanks to Tume Anderson, Randy Attia. You hired Randy Attia as an assistant coach when you were at Allen.
Well, he was.
What'd you see in him when you saw that, when you made that hire? I mean, obviously he's elevated himself to one of the fine athletic directors in the area.
You know, certain people have a certain way about them, a charisma, a certain personality, the ability to get along with young people, the ability to work with adults and get things done and accomplished, to understand the big picture, to understand what's really important. Maybe not a win here or there, but what is the big picture? Obviously, what Coach Attia has to do, Mike, is to rebuild the athletic program, as does Dave Stout over at Deerf, and try to kind of improve what's going on, get to the lower levels in Allentown, start working with some of the younger kids in the elementary and middle school. Tume has been named the Director of Activities and Athletics for the entire district, so obviously he's got some real influential dealings with it. So, I mean, but again, It's Randy's a real good guy. I mean, and he's younger. He brings that certain different generational look to things. You know, the social media aspect and promotion aspect that maybe some older people wouldn't necessarily lean on.
Well, certainly thank him for all his help as the athletic director at Allen and helping us at the Service Electric Network. And guys, I know always appreciate going over there to Seward's Gymnasium on Doug Snyder Way, by the way.
Yeah. Quick,
Who'd ever thought, huh? Who'd have thought?
A quick story. My car broke down the other day in front of the gym. Guy from AAA said, "Mr. Snyder, what street you on?" And I was almost going to say Doug Snyder. I said, no, I'm on Turner Street. I'm on West Turner Street.
I thought you were going to tell me you got a parking ticket on your own street.
I would not pay that. They've been asking me whether I have to plow the snow on that street because it's my street.
Yeah, right. Well deserved, my friend.
Yeah, well, you were
Great
there.
Career,
you were there supporting me. I appreciate that.
Yeah, you touched a lot of it. It was a treat to have Tyrese Martin on here earlier. You know he's going to go wherever it is in the NBA. If it's with the Hawks, he's going to not only be a good member of the NBA, but he's going to be a good member of their society. But the important thing is he's not going to forget the Queen City. He's not going to forget Allen High School. He's not going to forget where he grew up. And, he shared that thought with us a little earlier this afternoon. I thought he was right on point.
Every press conference he's been involved in since he got drafted a month ago is that he's from Allentown, and he'll give back to Allentown because that's where he's from. And guys like yourself and I, who also were born and raised in this town, know what he's talking about.
It's always been a special place. It continues to be a special place. To be able to raise a family, educate your family, grow in a community that pulls and fights for one another.
And if you just look across this landscape that we're sitting in, and we talked about it earlier, how beautiful this park is.
Certainly is.
Can the Canaries add to this lead? Can they protect the lead?
1:23 to go.
The point guard has the ball, gives it up. Will Brandt touch the ball in his possession, maybe?
They'd have to give him a touch. Strathaven trying to force a turnover, and they're going to get resistance. Brandt saves the possession. Figueroa for three, and Strathaven gets the stop.
Only needed two. You don't have to worry about getting a win right now, so I would get the ball into Jaregi's hands. Number 32 is a dangerous guy off the bounce. So is number 53, just a great passer.
Brandt with the defensive resistance, going to control the rebound. What a terrific effort by Brandt. Both to not commit a foul, then box out and secure the board.
Plays much taller than he is with those long arms. It's going to be a double-double guy, Mike. Double-double guy.
We saw him when Allen knocked off Emmaus. Over at Emmaus, it was kind of a coming out party for him. Got a little outside of his body there a little bit and had probably the game of his career. He
struggled a little when we did the game at Northampton at the end of the season. He missed a couple easy layups and he kind of got down on himself. And that was that emotional aspect that he's really been working on. And obviously Coach Braswell's been working on it with him.
Well, you make a good point about, and just not the city kids and the Allen and Deeruff kids. Dealing with adversity is huge in playing athletics. I don't care where you're from, what community. I mean, you're going to have it. I don't care how good you are, how gifted you are. There's going to be some moments you got to fight your way through.
Not everything will go your way. Strathaven fouling here to stop the clock and put people on the line. One more, and it's going to be a 1-and-1 for the Canaries of Allentown, PA.
Now, that certainly is a good strategy, especially with what we've seen today. Free throws have certainly been at a premium. There's a foul being committed, and it's going to be Justo who goes to the line to shoot a 1-and-1.
1 for 3 thus far this game, so we'll see whether Justo can make the ones that really count here coming down the stretch. Number 4, Keith Jackson, goes out of the game probably for defensive purposes. Johnson comes in a little bit bigger and stronger and heavier. Didn't get a chance to tell. Number 4, Keith Jackson's father played for me at Allen High School back in the late 90s. His name also, Keith Jackson, 6'8". Chances are this young man, number 4, is going to grow into his body a little more.
That's a big free throw by Justo to increase the lead by 3. He can make it a 2-possession game now. Yeah, that's good stuff there. That's showing some really good leadership.
Nothing but net for Justo on both of those. Allen wants to finish this game.
Going to be a foul committed prior to the shot. Of course, Justo worked against Nate Ellis for the last couple of years in practice on a nightly basis. That's going to help your game a little bit, I would think.
You would have to step. You would have to step up. You don't step up, you're going to be destroyed.
Somehow, I don't think Nate was too lenient on the guys in practice.
Never.
There's a long-range 3 that's just off the mark. Last touched by Allen. Canaries led by a dozen at intermission.
I believe the Canaries have one more game coming up later tonight to finish their pool play.
Shot was deflected. There's 13 seconds still to go. It is going to be Allen basketball as Darnell Braswell rallies his troops.
13 seconds on court 1.
Strath employing some full court pressure undoubtedly right now. See if they can get a steal and a quick basket, maybe a foul, and get the ball back. They need 2 possessions though.
Emmaus and West Catholic on deck. Central Catholic and Notre Dame Green Pond. Parkland and Camden still to come here tonight.
What a lineup for our viewers. What a lineup we're watching here. And get a chance to spend some time with Mike Zambelli and Tracy Sear.
I've got the 2 right people on the job, you and Tracy. I know Tracy was down here scouting on Thursday and Friday. I know you've been around this game all summer long.
I think she was in one of these tents. She might have even slept down here one of those nights.
She's ignoring us.
Yeah, she is. Standing right here, but not listening. She's focused on the game as she should be.
I understand. It's been a good one. Strathaven on the road, if you will, against what would be a home team in Allen.
They trap the ball, and they foul right away.
It's good execution by Allen to get the ball into the hands of number 3, Chris Justo. Not as easy as it sounds sometimes. Of course, if you're the other end of that, or you're Strathaven, you want to try and deny that scenario.
11 seconds, 1 and 1, court 1, lots of ones.
Coach Braswell looking for a point guard. We might be finding one here.
Yeah, just off the mark.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5.
That's a 3-pointer that'll count. Boy, you didn't want to commit a foul. There were Canary bodies in the area there. It was awfully close. Javrecki with a 3-pointer on the move.
1 second.
And there are still 10 seconds to go in this game. So it's going to be Robert Johnson stepping to the free throw line. Johnson is scoreless in the contest.
3 seconds are now on the clock. 3 seconds.
Big free throw.
3 seconds have been told.
This one equally as important.
Nice and smooth, nice and calm on this shot.
3-point game. So Strathaven will need 3 to tie. Now the scenario comes in. Do you commit a foul if you're Allen and not allow them to shoot a 3-pointer?
I would say yes. I would say push up the defense and foul in the backcourt. Most definitely.
Emmaus West Catholic still to come. Central Catholic, Notre Dame. Brooklyn and Camden.
As we wait for the Emmaus West Catholic game, Mike, the mascot of West Catholic High School and Philadelphia Catholic League are the Burrs.
The Burrs is correct.
So we need to know where they got that mascot's name.
You know, I've researched this, and I'm not going to be able to remember my research. The Burrs.
There are two theories. I will share them as we do the game.
3 seconds on court
The one that makes sense is
Somebody's
not the right
name.
one.
Somebody's name. No?
No.
I'll leave it up to you. You have the Princeton degree.
That and the buck gets me a cup of coffee.
Is that touched by anybody?
Team touch it. No touch.
It appeared that White touched it, but I'm not so sure the officials see it that way. They did not. So that's going to bring the ball all the way back here and give it to Allen.
Subs in.
Could have been Strath Haven's ball underneath their own basket, down 3.
Well, if anything, our guys in the truck were saying that it was touched by White.
It's still Strath Haven's ball. No, it's not. Justo's going to take it out.
3 seconds. Another touchdown. 2 seconds.
Free throw shooting down the stretch for the Canaries, and it's been something that's been lacking in really every game we've had so far. Canaries able to get the job done from the free throw line.
4 for 5 in the second half. With Robert Johnson again. Calm, cool, and collected.
It's 3 for 3. Kind of performances that will earn the trust of the coaching staff. Gets 1 out of 2, and the Canaries will hold off Strath Haven by a final 34-30. More work to go for Allen, as you mentioned. They have another one to play here tonight, Doug, but Darnell Braswell's guys showing some depth, some key free throw shooting, and held off a very athletic opponent here in this second half.
I think he got 9 or 10 guys involved in that game, mostly in the first half, then decided to cut the bench a little bit. But like you said, they were knocking down, I think, 4 or 5 free throws, only missed 2 in that second half when they counted.
Doug Snyder's going to stay in the captain's seat here as we are moments away from the Emmaus West Catholic. For the coach, Doug Snyder, and all of us here at the Service Electric Network, Mike Sam into the Atownthrowdown. More basketball when we return.